Hi, good evening, and welcome to my daily live session on various topics for execution excellence. My name is Dinakar. I am the founder of Samuthana and the inventor of doHow, a methodology for driving teams to achieve challenging goals and amazing outcomes. And while doing so, getting them to acquire leadership skills, and on the other side to uh, acquire management skills. One side to really working on the mindset and culture for leadership, and working on systems mainly uh, based on the continual learning loops in any organization, which is what I've been explaining in the last couple of weeks. And so both leadership and management is the area that we work on in the last couple of years, 8 years to be precise. And the last 3 weeks I've been talking about the learning loops, and today I'll continue my discussion on the performance loop. Before I do that, I would invite you to have a look at my website in case you want to know more, dinakarmurthy.com it is. Otherwise, write an email to me, dinakar@samutana.com is my email address. And apart from that, I also want to invite you to the public doHow programs, which I want to conduct from Sunday onwards. Every Sunday at 11 o'clock in the morning, Indian Standard Time. To be able to attend that, you need to log into this particular, type in this address, http dinakarmurthy.com /solutions /services /public doHow. And the same link also is given in the description of this particular live session. You could click on that and join directly. And that's it. Then you can experience doHow, have a different learning experience. So with that very brief introduction, let me directly jump into the topic of the day. I've been talking about continual learning. Continual learning means that you are creating a learning organization, some concept which was introduced by Peter Senge a long time back, based on the PDCA, which was introduced and propagated by Deming almost decades ago. In this control cycle, there are four elements, four phases which are extremely important. First is to have an algorithm, which I call as the plan. And I use the word algorithm because when you look at smart manufacturing, Industry 4.0, or industry 5.0, 6.0, the people already talking about industry 6.0, if you want to know that. And some of the Finnish companies have already looked at working on that, which is mainly to relate to create smart communities, smart living. And that's much when I say living, it's not just about the smart housing or smart homes. It's about automated cars, then automated home control system. That means moment you leave the office, based on that the AC gets switched on, and then a lot of things which can get automated. That is the smartness. To do this automation, four elements are required in any cycle. First is to have an algorithm, to have understood the cause and effect. That is the most important thing. And then to really actuate, that is the do phase of the PDCA cycle, where you are trying to actuate with some kind of a signal. It could be something to move, something to report, something to notify, whatever be it, some actuation. Once the actuation is done, then to sense what happened in the environment when you actuated it, and after that, based on the sensing which you did, find out what the gap between the intended outcome was and the actual outcome, and then correct it. That's the cycle, algorithm, actuate, sense, and correct, or PDCA, plan, do, check, act. And I've used these cycles as the basis for talking about various cycles in any industry, learning cycles in any industry. So let me directly go to that. Before that, I need to switch on the pointer. I spoke about these seven. I've basically defined seven cycles: product, process, people, performance, productivity, programming, and progression. Progression would be more towards the industry 6.0. Programming cycle, maybe we can think as industry 4.0 or 5.0, but let's come to that. Before that, these basics are important. That's why I started by talking about the product, process, people cycles in the last 3 weeks. This week I'm focusing on the performance cycle, where you're really getting the organization to work. Because unless the cause and effect is understood, unless the loop is understood, it is impossible to automate something. And that's something which is the fundamental essence of automation. So on Monday, I spoke about the organization structure and roles as the first phase of the performance cycle, or the algorithm phase or the plan phase. And then the actuate phase would be to delegate the work and tasks to various people, so that you have distributed the work, everybody is working on their own. And then you have a phase of sensing, which is to report the progress, to really look at where do we stand today, and that is a check phase. And today I'll be talking about the review and steer. So before we go to the review and steer, it's important that the earlier three phases are really completed. That's something which is the core of the entire wisdom which I have gained over so many years. So it's important to have this thing closed looped. You know, there's no point in really doing one-off activities, which is really good. It's really fantastic, but then it doesn't really take you to the goal. You know, it doesn't really take you to the end outcome that you are desiring, which is smartness. Smartness comes in basically having an algorithm, actuating it, and after that, based on the actuation, to really look at what really happened after the actuation, which is the sensing phase, and after that, to correct it. The correction activity is what we are looking at today, which is review and steer, correct or acting phase. The first thing here, I'm going to talk about 4 different topics. The first thing which is important is doHow learning to learn system. This is something which I coined when I started my consultancy and when I started Samutana sometime back, almost 9 years back now. And at that time, I coined this learning to learn system based on my wisdom of any organization, world-class companies. I indeed worked with Bosch, a company which has won EFQM award for business excellence multiple times in India. Multiple times because it was because of multiple plants, multiple locations, Bangalore, Nasik and Jaipur. And apart from that, many plants throughout the world have won the Excellence Award. Excellence is all about trying to create sustainable value for all the stakeholders. So therefore, the systems there are quite robust, which means we have got daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly and yearly learning cycles. That is what the doHow learning to learn system is all about, which can be automated in a big way. Mainly in terms of getting the dashboards, getting the reviews, triggered automatically based on the situation. Escalations can be automated, notifications can be automated. So that is what the learning to learn system is all about. You want to know more about that, you can check out the videos. There are videos on learning to learn system where I explain the learning to learn system in detail. Then the next is, which is extremely important, this is where the human intelligence comes, and to some extent it is possible to use the computer for this activity or the technology for this activity, drilling down to data origin for plausibility. See, in any organization, there are so many information coming in. For example, let us say your body is supposed to be controlling temperature. Let's take that example. It comes to my mind. It is very interesting. Imagine that you are you just put your hand in ice, for example, right? Let us say there are sensors available in your hand which is sensing the temperature of the body, and you put the hand in the ice, and when the hand goes into the ice, imagine that was the only signal available to the mind, to the brain, for brain to control your body temperatures. Then it should have done something. Either it should have increased your heart rate or increased the speed of pumping, so that the body temperature would increase, because you put the hand in the ice. That means that there is a cold and you need to increase your temperature because the temperature dropped down. But in reality, it doesn't happen at all, because the brain is extremely smart. It checks the temperature in the hand, at the same time checks the temperature in the other hand, and possibly checks the temperature somewhere in your ear, and based on that, it understands that, look, that particular thing is only isolated, only there. It's not really something which is a global phenomena for which I have to react. So that check whether whatever data you are sensing, whatever you are seeing, is really the true reality, which necessitates any action or any correction, is something which you need to one needs to really master. And that is what I would call as plausibility, to really check whether whatever that we are sensing, is it really the true reality. And that can be done in a big way using technology, wherein one could compare the data from different sources and to make sure that if it is matching, if it is making sense. And for that, the connect between the two data can either be empirical or could be theoretical, wherein we really have a formula which can connect the two data sets. That's something which is possible to be automated, and that is a human intelligence which I've gained working and reviewing in many meetings. So that's something which can be done, which is to some extent done. I only use human intelligence, my intelligence, to really look at the plausibility. Then the next one, which is extremely important, which can be automated in a way where triggers can be sent, escalations can be sent, is the 5-zone planning, which is something which I feel is the essence of continual progress and continual work. When I say 5-zone planning, I'm talking about zone -1 could be yesterday, 0 is today, +1 is tomorrow, +2 is day after tomorrow, +3 is day after tomorrow. The -1 uh, uh, performance or -1 plan which existed, and also we would have actuals. Comparing these two, automatic triggers can be initiated for finding out what has been the learning from the respective agencies involved in achieving that particular outcome. This is something which is very interesting, and so that one would come prepared with the learning. And when you are able to learn from whatever that happened yesterday, it's something which takes you towards progress. That is the first one. Second is, today's plan needs to be fulfilled, and for that full kitting is required, and that's a very fundamental concept which I spoke about yesterday or day before yesterday. Full kitting is talking about whether all the items, documents, decisions, information, materials required to perform a task are available or not. Is it available as a full kit? And that automation can be easily done in computers, and that's something where again smartness can be brought in, because that brings in a lot of what should I say, ease for the purpose of scheduling and for the purpose of executing a task, because these reports can be generated much in advance and escalations can be done automatically, so that the task gets completed and the full kit is always available before the task gets started. And for tomorrow, the same thing about the full kit. Day after tomorrow also about full kit, because today's plan is something which is already frozen. Tomorrow's plan was frozen yesterday. Day after tomorrow's plan is something which we freeze today, and there human intelligence is required, where we can discuss amongst ourselves and come to a decision whether it can be done or not. And again here, based on the full kit which is defined for that particular activity, imagine something like a structure. You have got a lot of you must be having a good idea of about the product structure, where you're talking about a BOM, bill of materials, which says for making this product I need so many materials. So imagine something like that if it was available for a full kit. That means if I say this activity has to be done, for that what all are required for the activity to be done, then the technology can check whether those activities are available and then predict when it would be available. So based on that, the plan can be frozen. So the smartness in planning is to make a plan which is executable. Why I'm talking about reviewing and steering here and as a correction phase, because this learning which happened from the progress reporting can be used for correcting these things. That's what happens in reality. Once you are able to do this 5-zone planning consistently for 5 days and similarly for 5 weeks, 5 months, then a lot of stability is achieved in the system, which makes sure that the entire organization can work in a cruising mode, at the same time improving, not that they are not improving at all. Then the next is the learning from -1 zone, which is what I spoke about, and this can be used for making sure that the system further improves and the predictions are done much better than what it was being done earlier. So that's about the review and steer. It is something which is done manually, and many people don't like it, but in fact, you believe me, reviewing, steering is the most important thing in any company for achieving success. Without reviewing and steering, no success can be achieved, because that is the fundamental area where some corrections can be done, steering can be done, action can be initiated. So with that, thanks a lot for watching. For those of you in India, have a nice evening. For those of you outside India, have a great day ahead. And tomorrow, I'll be talking about progressing to the next cycle or getting back to the earlier cycle, and what needs to be done, how can it be done. That would be my topic for tomorrow. So with that, goodbye and take care. All the very best. Let us see tomorrow again at 8:30, more or less 8:30 Indian Standard Time. It may get delayed. Tomorrow is a big festival in India. It's called as Varamahalakshmi. So maybe I have some errands to attend in the evening, so it may get delayed. So if I do that, so please pardon me. And we will meet tomorrow around 8:30 Indian Standard Time. Thanks a lot and goodbye.